we're going to jump straight into these quiz questions. And I've put the first one up, and I am wondering, okay, I'll give you a chance to read it first. Maybe I'm going too quick here, Ms. Coco, but yeah. So this was in your last quiz, this first one. There's a few of them. We're going to do all of them because I really want you to understand these very important concepts. Grade 10 is the foundation of the FET phase. So you are learning foundational concepts that you are going to carry through right into grade 12. So don't leave here tonight with anything still not clear or wondering about. Pop a question in the chat, raise your hand, pop a question to Ms. Coco, but make sure that you understand. Remember, tonight's also quiz night, so you'll be doing another quiz this evening. So make sure that, yeah, so that's going to be a good test for you to see how well you understood this section. So, but for now, let's read the question. The first one that is up, and if you are done, as always, post your emoji. And I would also really like someone to put up their hand and tell us how we're going to solve this one. As soon as you're ready, raise your hand if you know. Oh, look, everyone is raising hands. Love it. We love to hear your voices. Okay, so thank you so much, Nishan, for also putting your hand up. I am going to give it to CJ because they were first. So CJ, you can unmute and tell us what you are thinking. What's your plan here? CJ, you can unmute. Yes, CJ's typing in the chat. Is your audio not working or something? Okay, no problem. So where's Nishan? Nishan can come back. They had their hand up. No problem, CJ. Nishan, you can unmute because you also had your hand up. So let's unmute and then you can tell us, what are you thinking? What are we going to do here? Did Nishan disappear? Okay, anyone else? Also, if you know. Nishan can't unmute. Why is that?
Well, you should be able to, Nishan. Try now.
We can just unmute for them.
Oh, there we go. Hi, Nishan.
There we go.
Ma'am, I think we're going to like use the distance formula since we are told that the distance between P and Q is square root 29.
Lovely, that's right. So we are going to use the distance formula. And can you tell me, so stay there and we're going to do this together. So here's our distance formula. Okay, and what should we do next?
Ma'am, we're going to see square root 29.
Yeah.
Equals to square root open bracket.
Yep.
X minus -2.
Yeah.
Squared, yes, ma'am. And then we're gonna have 6 minus 1 close bracket.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Nishan. We're going to give the class a chance to solve from here. Well done. Excellent. Okay, and I'm going to leave everyone here for 2 minutes. Let's solve this question and find the value of x. We've done the hard part for you where we've actually set up the equation. So now you just need to solve it. So we'll check back at about, let's make it actually your 1813. So don't put anything in the chat yet, just work on your own, solve for x. Right, guys, let's start putting our answers in the chat. Remember, if you're still busy working and you don't want to see the answer yet, just don't look at the chat. But everyone else, if you've got an answer, pop it in the chat. What are our values for x?
Sure, ma'am. Looks like everyone's still busy. Oh, there we go. Sinako put some answers.
Anyone else? Come, guys. We're waiting for answers. What does that mean, Sehomo? Come, our other class could just solve this. So I do expect you guys to know how to do this. We did do it a few times when we, over the last 3 lessons, we've done this a few times. And you did this in your quiz. This came straight from a quiz that you did. Sandy says 2 or 0. Hi, Chinamiram. There we go. Now we got some answers coming. Well done. Yes, Chinamiram.
Good evening, ma'am. Sorry. So since last week, I haven't been able to join the classes because I was sick. I had asthma and I had to recover. So I am gonna be a bit behind.
Okay, no problem. Just shoot Ms. Coco a question if you need anything.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for your understanding.
Okay, no problem. Okay, we should be getting 2 answers, guys. This should be clear because we've got an x plus 2 in our bracket. We've got a square, so it's definitely going to be 2 answers. Okay, so I took the square root away on both sides and I simplified a bit. 6 minus 1 is 5, squared is 25. And then I take the 25 over, that gives me 4, and that's x plus 2 squared. And now I'm going to square root it again, but I need to remember that the square root of 4 is minus 2, or the square root of 4 is plus 2. Yes, Vitali?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, may I please ask, where did you get the 4?
The 4 comes from subtracting 25 on both sides.
Oh, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
This 25, yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
And then I subtracted 2 on both sides. That's minus 4, and that's x. And then I subtracted 2 on both sides again, and that gives me 0 is x. So x is equal to minus 4, or x is equal to 0. Okay, so check your calculations. Many of you, I see, still got 1 answer. And like I said earlier, this is something that gets asked a lot. Okay, so let's make sure we understand. Right, next one. Determine y if p have those values and q have those values, and the gradient of pq is 2. Okay, so can I have a hand up, please? Can I have a handout, please? How are we going? Hand up, please. How are we going to solve this one with the y? Ms. Coco, will you assist? Thanks. Yes, Chinamiram. You can unmute.
We're gonna solve it the same way we solved x, but this time it's just gonna be with y.
Yes, but are we going to use the distance formula again, or what are we going to use?
Midpoint, I think.
No, not midpoint.
Is it still
Yes.
this? No, the gradient formula. The
Gradient. That's right. Right, everyone, we're going to use the gradient formula. Off you go. You've got 3 minutes. Let's solve. Set up an equation using the gradient formula and then solve for y. Pop your answer in the chat if you've got it. You've got answers from Chinamiram and Isa and Yasha and Siamu. And Klo and Kelly. Okay, people are saying y is equal to 11. Let's see if that works. So we'll go 5 minus y over 1 minus 4 is equal to 2. And then 5 minus y minus 3 is equal to 2. Then we multiply by the negative 3 to get negative 6. That's just so that we don't have a fraction in our equation. And then we're going to take the 5 over to the other side. That's minus 11. So then y is 11. Well done, guys. Excellent. Okay, let's see this one. Okay, so we are on to our second last question from your quiz from last week. Just a reminder that that is what we are currently doing. We are working through your quiz questions that seem to have tripped you up last week. So AB is parallel to CD. We've got the coordinates for A. For B, we have the X coordinate, but the Y coordinate is missing. And in the question, they've named that Y coordinate A. So the Y coordinate is just A. It's the same thing. And then we have C, and this is obviously meant to be D. C and D are points on CD. Calculate the value of A. So we know that AB is parallel to CD. That is the first important thing we need to highlight. We've got coordinates for AB and we've got coordinates for CD. And we are looking for the value of A. Who's got a plan that they can share with us? How are we going to do this one? Some of you got it right in the actual quiz, so some of you must know how to do it. Chinamiram, I'm going to give someone else a chance. I'm going to give Emmanuel a chance. Let's hear Emmanuel.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, so here's what I'm thinking, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
since both lines are parallel, ma'am, I think that we should first calculate the gradient, ma'am, I think, between them.
Yeah.
And then when we get the okay, ma'am, do you want to talk, ma'am?
I want to ask which gradient are we going to calculate first?
Oh, ma'am, the gradient of C and D, ma'am. Sorry for being so vague,
No,
ma'am.
that's
And then,
fine. No problem. So the gradient of
and then-
CD. Yeah.
yes, ma'am. Then when you get the gradient of C and D, then you equate it to the one of A and B. Then you find the value of the small letter A. That's the coordinate.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Okay, everybody. So what Emmanuel said basically was that we are going to find the gradient of CD. And because the lines are parallel, the gradient of CD is equal to the gradient of AB. So then we are going to put the gradients equal and solve for A. All right, so some of you have said that you skipped this one or guessed it. Siamu, time to redeem yourself since we now know what to do. Let's give it a go and we'll check back in about, yeah, let's make it 2 minutes. Shouldn't take too long. 2 minutes. 18:26. Okay, guys, we are not just looking for the value, the gradient of CD, we want the value of A. So once you have done the gradient of CD, go right ahead and then solve for A. Remember, the lines are parallel, so the gradients are equal. Mitchell says it's 3. Okay, so if we get the gradient is equal to 2, some of you are getting 1, some of you are getting 3. Some of you have no value for A yet. So we know that the gradients are equal, so the gradient of AB must be equal to 2 as well. Yes, Zama.
Ma'am,
Yes.
when I calculated the gradient, I actually got the answer that you wrote that you've written down. But the thing
Yeah.
is, when I converted it, it showed 1,2 in my calculator.
1,2. I'm not sure how that would happen. Did you get -6 over -3?
Yes, ma'am.
And then it
No,
gave you 1,2. Not
no, I think
entirely
I got
sure.
No, I got 6. That's the reason why.
Okay. Have you figured it out?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so then the gradient of AB must also be 2. And we put that into the gradient formula as well. So -1 minus A over -5 minus 3. So -1 minus A, oops, we must put that equal to 2. And then we get, I'm just going to carry on this side, -1 minus A over -5 plus 3 will be -2, and that's equal to 2. And then we multiply and get -4. And then this is -3, and then A is 3. Okay, well done. Good stuff, everybody. Last one from your quiz that made you unhappy or that you guessed. Okay, so we just did the parallel lines. Let's do the perpendicular lines. AB is perpendicular to CD. We've got A with coordinates. We've got B missing coordinate. And C and D calculate the value of B. So who can tell me how we're going to do this one? It's very similar to the previous one, except now we've got the lines that are perpendicular. Yes, Zama.
Okay, ma'am. So we are first going to calculate the gradients.
Yeah.
And then we will use the formula of perpendicular lines.
And what do we know about perpendicular lines? What is that formula you're talking about?
I can't remember it.
Who can help? Yenzi? Yes?
Ma'am, when the lines are perpendicular, the answers that you got must be equal to -1 when you times them together.
That's it. Well done, Yenzi. Okay, so we are looking for the gradient of AB times the gradient of CD must give me -1. Okay, so I'm going to give you another 3 minutes to do that. You guys heard what we need to do. So we're going to calculate the gradient of CD. And then we know if we multiply those two gradients together, we need to get -1. So that's going to be our equation that we need to make. Okay, let's work until 1833, and then we see how we go. Remember, we need the value of B, so not just the gradient of CD, but we actually need to solve for B. Yeah, if you have a value for B, pop it in the chat. Let's see. Reconisa says B is -1. As soon as you have your value for B, put it in the chat. So if the gradient of CD is equal to 2 and the lines are perpendicular, what must the gradient of AB equal to? Does anyone know? Pop it in the chat. Yes, Isa, that's right. -1/2. Okay, so that should make solving for B quite easy, because from here on it's the same as the previous question. So the gradient of AB is -1/2. So now we're going to make another equation so that we can solve for B. So we'll go 2 minus -1 over -5 minus B, and that must be equal to -1/2. I wonder why we are, I don't know if anyone's struggling, but I wonder why we are taking so long. Or are we just taking long? So we've got a few more answers here for B. Let's see, because we need to actually carry on. So 2 minus -1, that's going to be 3 over -5 minus B is -1/2. Now I know you guys just guess in the quizzes, because if you knew, then more people would actually know what the answer was for this. Okay, we're going to do a cross multiplication. I'm going to go 2 times 3 is 6, and minus 1. And then I'm just gonna take that minus into the bracket. That's 5 plus b, and then b is 1. People are getting minus 1. Have I done something wrong, Ms. Coco? Minus 5 minus b, I've cross multiplied 2 times 3 minus 1 times minus 5 minus b. Yeah, so b should be 1. I'm not sure why everyone's getting minus 1, but that should be our answer. Okay. Yes, a few people got b is equal to 1 as well. Okay, yes, Nishan.
Ma'am, how did you get 6, ma'am?
6. I cross multiply the 2 over here with the 3. So I go like that. You can also
Ma'am,
just multiply with 2 minus 5 minus b. That's another way of doing it. I just do cross multiplication because it's quicker and easier. But you can just multiply both sides by 2 times minus 5 minus b. Okay.
okay, ma'am.
Okay, cool. Right, let's see. We're going to start this question. We're probably not going to finish it, but we can take screenshots to finish it at home. This is a question from a November paper from the Department of Education, so it's some good practice. Let's start with the first one. Calculate the length of PQ. Leave your answer in surd form. So remember, you must follow the instruction of the question, otherwise you do lose marks. So your answer must be in surd form. So let's do that one. Pop your answer in the chat when you're done. If you want to make a root, you can just write root and the number, or square root and the number. You guys see that this mark allocation is 2. So that means 2 marks, 2 minutes. So you must try and finish it in 2 minutes. Using the distance formula, because that's what we are doing. Okay, we got some answers coming in. Let's see. So for PQ, we're going to have the square root. And remember, you can't just write answers only. You have to show substitution. So 6 minus 7 squared plus 6 minus 4 squared. And then PQ, let's see. You can carry on to the next question while you wait. You don't have to, no, you don't actually have to wait. You can just carry on. And I also get root 5. Well done, square root 5. Okay, let's go to 3.2. And again, those of you who want to go on to 3.3, that's fine too. We've got a few more minutes left. And you can work ahead if you want to. If t is 7/2 and 7/2, and it's the midpoint of QS. Determine the coordinates of S. So if you had this diagram in front of you, then definitely write this in. Okay, and this we've done. So do you guys see these types of questions do get asked in final exams and in tests and stuff? So you're ready. You've done this now in the lesson, so you know what to do. We've got the midpoint. We are missing the coordinates of S. So pop your answer in the chat as soon as you're ready. Sure, Bontle did that really quickly. Oh. Yeah, so actually this is QS. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say 6 plus t divided by 2 is going to give me the midpoint coordinate. So that means 6 plus t is equal to 7. So t is equal to 1. So the x coordinate is 1. And then we're going to do the same for the y coordinates. It's basically the same calculation. 6 plus k over 2 is equal to 7/2. Times by 2 right through to give us 6 plus k is 7. So k is 1. So the coordinates for S are 1 and 1. Okay. We can quickly do the last question. If the coordinates of S are 1 and 1, so this is also a way that you can check now that you actually got the right coordinates here. So if you got something different for S, then you can go back and fix it, okay? But you can't fudge it, okay? Like you can't try and make it work. If you haven't worked it out correctly, you have to fix it properly, not fudge it. Okay, so we have to show that PR is equal to QS. So PR is equal to QS. Now look at the mark allocation grade 10s. It's only 2 marks. So what is going to be the quickest way to show that PR is equal to QS? Quickest way. I know you're all thinking distance formula, but it's not. That is one way. You can do that. But I want the quickest way because only 2 marks. Midpoint. Well done, Zoom user. If you would just tell us your name, we could actually give you proper credit for a good answer. Okay, so hi, Komotso, yay. You must tell us your name and then we can change it. Okay, so let's check if the midpoint of RP is also T. Okay, so work that out. Work out the midpoint of RP. Then put it in the chat as soon as you're done. What is the midpoint of RP? What is the midpoint of RP, guys? Listen carefully to questions. Midpoint. Yes, you're right, Isa. It is 7/2, and that's the quickest way. Remember, I said you can do distance, but I then asked you to do the quickest way. So the quickest way is to say 0 plus 7/2 and 3 plus 4/2 gives me the midpoint of RP, which is also 7/2 and 7/2. Okay, good stuff.